Hello again, 7th grade math friends. We are here now to talk about adding and subtracting integer decimals. So positive and negative decimals. It is very similar to adding and subtracting fractions. However, we don't have to go through the process of finding common denominators. So it's pretty straightforward. The example we're going to use is negative 11.0 minus 3.5. I'm going to switch color here because I didn't realize I had left it on that color, and that's hard to read. So we can't use our adding rules yet because we have a subtraction problem. We have a negative 11 and a positive 3.5, and the operation is to subtract. So the first thing we're going to do is switch to our additive inverse. Taking that negative 11.0, changing to the operation to add, and then using the opposite number on the other side of 0. So the number on the other side of 0 of 3.5 is negative 3.5. So we now have our additive inverse. So now we can use our addition rules. Same signs, add, and keep. So we do have two negative numbers that we're adding. So we add 11.0 and negative 3.5. Remember your decimal rules, that when you're adding two decimals, you must keep the decimals lined up. Okay? And if there was extra numbers, let's say this, for an example, was a 7, then you would have to use a filler 0. And I'm not going to hit the back button because if I do that, or the undo, because it'll take it off for me and you won't see it on the video. So I'll just scratch it out there. So we are adding 11.0 and negative 3.5. So same signs, add and keep. So ignoring my negatives for the moment, we're going to add 0 plus 5 is 5, keep the decimal, 1 plus 3 is 4, carry the 1, and now we add and then we keep the sign, and the sign is a negative number, or a negative sign. So here we have negative 14.5. That is our answer. So go ahead and practice the problems that I have for you on your worksheet. We'll be back soon with a review of the answers. Go ahead and pause. Okay, so let's go over the two problems you needed to do to practice. So the first one is 15.3. Get my pencil here. 15.3 minus 9.75. So the first thing I'm going to notice looking at this is that I have a subtraction problem. So I'm going to find the additive inverse. And the additive inverse of 9.75 is negative 9.75. Now I have an addition problem, and I can use my addition rules. Same signs, add, and keep. Well, we don't have same signs. We have a positive 15.3 and a negative 9.75. So the different signs subtract. So I'm going to take 15.3 and 9.75. Now, I'm not going to worry about the signs at the moment. I just know they're different, so it means I have to subtract. So my operation, regardless of any of the rest of it, is to subtract. I need a filler 0 to keep my place values lined up. Now I need to subtract. So I can't subtract 5 from nothing, so I need to borrow. So 10 minus 5 is 5. So I can't subtract 7 from 2, so I need to borrow. 12 minus 7 is 5. 14 minus 9 is 5. Now, the question is it a negative 5 or a positive 5.5? So, same signs, add and keep. Different signs, subtract. So we subtracted. Keep the sign of the larger number, then you'll be exact. So 15.3 is larger than 9.75. Therefore, the sign of the larger number is positive. So our answer is 5.55. That's what you should have gotten. Okay, let's do the other practice problem you had. And if you need to pause this to take notes or write down or make corrections, please do. But I'm going to go ahead and move on. The other problem you had, number 4, was 6. Whoops. Pencil, Mrs. Evans, pencil, grab it. Okay. So we have 6.92 minus a negative 14.5. So, first thing I notice is that it's a subtraction problem. I need to find the additive inverse. So if my problem, my part of my problem was negative, I'm going to find the inverse is positive. Okay? So instead of subtracting a negative 14.5, I'm going to be adding a positive 14.5. So now I can use my integer rules, my adding rules, same signs, add and keep. So I have 6.92 and 14.5. I need to add those. 6.92, 14.5. Again, keeping our decimals lined up. Now I need a filler 0 here. I can put one up here as well. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to do that just for consistency's sake. And I'm adding, so I don't have to worry about borrowing and all that. Otherwise, I might put the larger number on top. But here we have 9 plus 5 is 14. 10 plus 1 is 11. Carry the 1. So now I have to look. Same signs, add, and keep the sign. Well, the signs of both of these numbers were the same, and they were both positive. So I have a positive 21.42. Okie doke. Hopefully that's what you got too. Thanks for playing along.